was pain inside her eyes. He had come and gone away and left the love to yesterday. Now her only joy's the tears she cried. She said, where did I go wrong? And how can I go on? Say, where did I go wrong? And how can I go on? Pay his bills until one day when he fell ill, the doctor took too long to make it right. He lost his job and all he owned, his car, his house, his precious throne, all his baddest symbols of his life. He said, where did I go wrong? And how can I go on? He didn't feel like a man. Took his hand and told him, season change will rearrange. You gotta give it time. Season change will rearrange. You gotta give it time. If you will find a place for peace of mind. You will find a place for peace of mind. Meanwhile, your road to light stays the same. If you continue praying, manifest all that you're saying, then the world will stop to be all that you need. You need. And know that season change will rearrange. You gotta give it time. Season change will rearrange. You gotta give it time. Look and you will find a place for peace of mind. Look and you will find a place for peace of mind. A place for peace of mind.
Peace and love, family. Peace and love. Let me cut this up get this out of my headphones. Peace and love, family. What up to the my audience family? I see you all in the building. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you got a notification because YouTube's playing a lot of games with the notifications. So some people know. Some people get alerted when I'm going live and some people don't receive the notification. So make sure, family, that you know that you're receiving the notification. So all you got to do is navigate to my YouTube channel, ensure that you're subscribed and hit the notification bell and subscribe to all notifications so that whenever I post any new content, you are alerted, right? Because like I said, they're censoring Black voices. And so even if you haven't heard from me in a while, you know, manually navigate to my channel and see what's up, see what's popping, because I go live at least, you know, once or twice a week. So if you're not getting notifications, then something's going on. Okay. So what up to New Black World Order? He says, family, he says, welcome family, like, share, subscribe, enjoy the information. Glad you're here. Peace to extra money. Peace and love to you. I see the Queen Mother, beautiful mind, is in the building. Queen Mother Tia Thompson, she's in the building. Peace to you. I see Queen Mother Virgo Venom's in the building. She says, Black Power family. I see Marie Fisher's in the building. Peace to you, beloved. Thank you so much for tuning in. I see Lalo Love. I think this is my sister from out the UK. Peace and love to you. My E5 twins are in the building. They said Abibi Fahodie Oluwo, which means teacher. They actually came in. They drove up from Florida. I saw them on Sunday. They came up for Baba Imhotep's life celebration. You know, we had a beautiful time celebrating Baba Imhotep, celebrating a man that has given so much of himself to the community. And so it was beautiful seeing people who come from all over. And so they came up from Florida, and then they came to Morgan and spent some time with me on Monday. And so they had an opportunity to see me interact with my students. And it was just a beautiful experience. And then after that, we broke bread. We broke bread at a vegan spot. But I do want to say this, and I said this to them face to face, but I want to say this publicly. I did not know that these brothers were as young as they are with the mindset that they possess. I've been bragging about them all week. I said, nobody can tell me that it's an age thing, that these young people are acting the way they acting because of an age thing. Because I said, well, how do you explain these set of twins who are mature? When I was in the presence of them, 23 years old, and I hope y'all don't mind me telling your age, 23 years old. And when I was in their presence, I knew that I was in the presence of men. I didn't feel like they were young boys, young men in training. I knew that I was in the presence of men. They said, Mama, where's your car? I'm going to make sure you get to your car safe. And I'm like, well, no, it's right there. Well, I'm going to stand right here to make sure you're good. I watched them when we were at the restaurant. I watched these young brothers get up. Women were coming through, and I'm talking about these brothers were eating, and they would stop doing what they're doing to make sure that the women who came through, that they opened the door for the women. I mean, just young men who are centered. I mean, I was extremely impressed with them. And, you know, I want to let them know publicly that how proud I am of them. And you young brothers, keep on doing what you're doing. They're getting ready to open up a Saturday school down in Tampa Bay, Florida. They're also working with Baba Imhotep to establish a PLM chapter down in Tampa Bay. They're also farming down in Tampa Bay, and they're 23 years old. So I don't want anyone to tell me, oh, well, they 22. They got a lot to learn. They still grow. I don't want to hear any of that because it's possible. Peace and love to, I see it says K Fighter salute family from Brooklyn. So Brooklyn is checking in. So peace to you. I see learn to dig 2 pits. Peace and love to your family. It says right here. It says fan of the art. Haven't caught a live in a minute. Good to catch a live. Peace and love to you. Glad that you're here. Tamara Grizzle says peace and love, Black family. I see Ro is in the building. Who else do we have? Tamara Grizzle said yes, finally received. Yeah. She said finally received a YouTube notification. I see LaShawn. Oh, there go Mama. Peace and love to you, Mama. Peace and love to you. See LaShawn Rush from PLM. Peace and love to you. I see Goddess Yemaya is in the building. Says peace and Black power. Dr. Maat and beautiful family. Who else we have in the building that I didn't mention? Watson that says Maat Hotep to you as well. Trying to think who else we got in the building. I think I acknowledge everybody. So family, take a moment out to thumb up this video while you're here. Thumb up this video. You know the way the YouTube algorithm works. The more you engage with the video by thumbing it up or writing comments, the more it circulates on YouTube. And we need to get some information. Now, there's a lot of BS on the internet. So help me get the information out. Thumb up the video. Family, also share this video. If you're on Facebook, post the link. If you're on Twitter, tweet the link. Let family know that I'm in the building and that I'm live. Okay, I see James Ingram is checking in from Tampa as well. Peace and love to your brother James. Peace and love to your brother James. So we have in the building, family, Baba Imhotep, Fadiul, a father, a husband, and a warrior for our people. And so I wanted him to come on to help me unpack this topic that we're going to deal with tonight. And you notice that I put in the title, we don't talk about this enough. And I know you probably said, what Dr. Maat talking about? Because I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to add Baba to the stream right now. Baba, you and I both know that if I would have put in the title what I really wanted, what we're going to talk about tonight, people don't click on stuff like that. People don't click on you, and I don't want to spoil it, Baba, but if I would have put in the title, Baba and I are going to talk about this. No one would have clicked on it. Maybe a couple of people, the Maadi and family would have clicked on it, Baba, but ain't nobody to click on it because nobody wants to talk about what we want to talk tonight. And so, Baba, can you hear me?
Yeah, you did break up with me a little bit, but I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, I said, Baba, before we jump into the topic, I said I wanna welcome you to the platform, Baba. I said peace and love to you.
Oh, peace and love. As always, it's an honor. I'm blessed to be here on this platform. I just love to engage with people that's doing the work, such as yourself, and I just love to be able to just share with our people what I like to term as being the correct way of thinking, because there's an incorrect way of thinking and there's a correct way of thinking, and thinking is not universal. Thinking is cultivated, and thinking comes from a unique cultural center, and we have to be clear about that.
And Baba, speaking about thinking, you have a new book that's out. Do you have your book on you or near you? Yes. Urban philosophy. Let me see. I can't see the sub. I need glasses, Baba. Thought and behavior.
Thought and behavior system.
Thought and behavior system. Could you talk a little bit about your book, Baba, before we jump into tonight's topic?
So yes, urban philosophy for me is, I like to define it as being African deep thought, adapted and modified for the era time we are living in. So by urban philosophy, I'm talking about a way in which African people should be thinking that's going to maximize our output. And that thinking is rooted in us utilizing the best of our traditions and rituals and cultures. We have to be able to go back and look at what our ancestors have laid out for us and pull from that the values, the rituals, the traditions, those things that we know that have enhanced human growth and development. That's what we must be implementing today. And I'll give a basic example is this here, the multi-parenting system. The multi-parenting system by which all the adult women are mothers and all the adult men are fathers to a child or children. It maximizes the development of the child or the children.
Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't agree more. And there was something that you said to me a while ago, Baba, when we were talking. You said, and this was, matter of fact, I don't even think you said it specifically. You actually said it to me, and then you said it again at the Race First rally. You said that even those who are African centered, you said that, sometimes we default to white thought. So we'll be in the, so it's those of us, even those of us who, are in the culture, who are centered. You said our default thinking is European. Could you unpack that statement a little bit?
So what have happened is that the Europeans, since they think so much in terms of logic and being rational and quantifiable and things like that, they have been able to structuralize a society that presents them at everywhere you turn and look. Everything you read or you watch is them, right? So what happens is that when we come into the knowledge and we trying to be our African selves, we oftentimes have to make decisions, choices, do things. And since we don't have all of our way, we just default to their way. Not knowing that it's their way. Case in point, the way we quote unquote raise our children, that's a default to white thought. That's not how we traditionally rear children, right? But we're defaulting because we're doing what our parents may have done, and they're doing what their parents may have done, and they're doing what their parents may have done, but they're not doing what we as African people have done, right? So we're defaulting to their thought by implementing their way. So this is why their system is so systematic, because even the best of us at times, we tend to default to their way. We just conditioned to do so, and we have to be able to identify, what's us and what's them, and pull us out of them, right?
And once we start pulling ourselves out of them, we have to extricate ourselves from within them, which is a serious internal struggle that a lot of us are not doing. We have to extricate ourselves so we can know what's us and what's not us. And we may not always know what's us, but we must have the courage to question the stuff that we don't know is us or them. We got to question it or go to those who we deem to be our Babas or Jegnas and Wadamus. And we got to ask, like,
absolutely,
what's up with this? We gotta humble ourselves so we can know, that we are most definitely doing our stuff.
Absolutely. And Big Tech said, he said, how do you know what is the correct way of thinking, particularly if we don't have enough of our personal educators, sociologists, psychologists, historians are not collectively, it says created programs, I guess have not collectively created programs. So he's saying, how do you know what is the correct way of thinking?
So I would say this to that to that question. And I want to answer the question, but this answer is for everyone that's listening. Let's not assume that we do not have brothers and sisters on the front line that's doing the work that have laid that down for us. That goes back to my point. We have to be willing to do the work, right? We have to be willing to find the individuals who are doing the work, who have laid that out. Because we have brothers and sisters, including myself, that's very clear about what's European and what's African, right? We just have to be willing to do that. It's a beautiful question, but I want us to know that it's out there. And the best way for me to define what is a correct way of thinking, if the thinking perpetuates the advancement of your people perpetually, then it's correct.
Come on.
Right? If it perpetuates your advancement, and by advancement, I mean if it brings us back into the best of who we are, if it allows us to extricate ourselves from within these people, if it allows us to be able to educate our children in a way that makes them African and not Black Europeans, right? We know we're thinking correctly. But the best barometer is to go and look at how our ancestors thought and then compare ourselves to the thinking of our ancestors. We must know our way. And that's a process that we can't get around the studying to do so. We're going to have to study. But some of the people I can shout out outside myself, Dr.Maat is on point. You have Baba Baruti on point. You have Dr. Wade Nobles. It's a lot of them that are on point and they're laying it down how we should be thinking. Dr. Kobe Cambone laid it down.
Yes.
And his works are beautiful works that are out there. But that which is correct is that which advances us, but advances us, not allows us to mimic them or to emulate them, but to truly advance our best interests. That's the correct way of thinking. When we can look at ourselves and analyze ourselves and assess ourselves against the best of who and what we are, what we can do for us. That's the correct way of thinking.
Ashe. So, Baba, let's jump into tonight's topic. I said we don't talk about this enough. And I titled this the way I did on purpose. Let me tell you what tonight's topic is, family. We're going to be talking about parenting. We're going to be talking about parenting. And so I noticed that in our community, Baba, and I know that you've noticed it as well, we talk about a lot of stuff, Baba. We talk about racism. We talk about the school system. We talk about drugs. We talk about the mass incarceration rate. We talk about Black love, Black marriages, the destruction of the Black family. It's a lot of things we talk about. I don't feel like we talk enough about the importance of parenting, Baba. And I love it. Shout out to Baba Baruti. He has a book out to educate the people. In the book, he talks about the difference. There's a lot of stuff. It's actually a really thick book. It's about 500 or 600 pages. But he talks about, in one particular section, the difference between raising and rearing our children. And he said a lot of us, we raise our children, right? Raising is the basics, right? I got to make sure that he or she has food, clothing, and shelter. I send the child to school. I send the child to church. And as a parent, I've done my job, right? We think that that's parenting, okay? But Baba, I could do that with a dog, okay? Yes, I can take a dog and make sure that the dog eats, make sure that the dog sleeps, make sure that the dog has shelter. dress the dog up in pretty clothes, take the dog on walks, drop the dog off at doggy daycare, take the dog at a dog training school. We can do that with dogs, Baba. But in our minds, a lot of people think that is parenting. And what I'm noticing in our community, I see a lot of young people operating with unhealthy values. They're operating with no morals, or they may have morals, they may have principles, but not morals that are conducive to our advancement, okay, or values that are conducive to our advancement. I see a lot of mediocrity in our community. When I show people clips of Jalen and Yame, Baba, the college students are like, they think they're just kid geniuses. And I said, no, you're just looking at children. You're just looking at children who are being developed in environments that are bringing out the genius that lies within them. I tell my students, you have a genius inside of you. And it's up to the environment that you're born into to pull that genius out of you. But they're not an anomaly. It's not like, oh my goodness, this is just an anomaly. I can't believe. No, these are children that are just being reared, not raised, but reared in their environments. So let me say something, Bob, and I'm going to pass it to you. I remember years ago, I used to be like this, Bob, when someone would say, I'm having a baby, or we're having a baby, or I want to welcome my first child, or another child, or my grandchild. I used to be one of those women, Bob, under the post or in the community, like, oh my goodness, new life. I used to be like that. New life. This is great. Just green, Baba. Oh, great. Now when people tell me, Baba, Doc, I'm having a baby, or I'm pregnant, I'm having a baby, or we're having a baby, or we just had a baby. I have questions, Baba, and concerns. So for example, one of my students ran up to me, one of my former students came to me the week before last. It was last Wednesday. And he came to my classroom, and I was busy with 6 other students. And so I couldn't talk to him. And then I walked to my car, and he was walking along my car, Baba. And he said, Doc, can I talk to you? And I said, sure. He said, I'm getting ready to go. I got a job in Oklahoma. And I said, great. That's great. And he said, yeah, I'll be doing some, electromagnetic stuff out for Boeing. And I said, okay, that's cool. And he said, well, I just need to get up with you. And I just was wondering if you had some work for me that, I need to make a couple of dollars before I get out of here. And I said, well, what's going on, man? And he said, I got a son on the way. And I said, oh. He said, are you now, my Bible, remember I told you I used to be like, oh, no. I said, okay. I said, are you with the child's mother? And he said, he looked at me, Baba, like this. No. Frowned his face. No. I said, oh. So I said, well, now that, so I said, okay, so you're not with her. So I said, I'm assuming she's not going to Oklahoma with you. Baba, he frowned up again. No. Like he was disgusted. And then he said, oh, it's too much. She gave me too much pushback. He's like, no. He said, I'm going to Oklahoma and I'm just going to co-parent. I said, okay. I said, well, congratulations, brother. I said, you created a single parent household. I said, you made your son a statistic and you made the young lady a statistic. And she also has a hand in it too. He's not solely to blame for this. But I said, congratulations, you made them a statistics. I said, and he said co-parenting. I said, you think that co-parenting is calling your child on the telephone and sending a couple of dollars through Zelle or Cash App or PayPal? I said parenting or co-parenting or being a father, I said that's a full-time responsibility. That's something you do day in and day out. That's not a part-time thing, Baba. And so anyway, Baba, I've been seeing a lot of things happening in the community. Like I said, I've been seeing young people who are operating with values and morals that aren't conducive to our advancement. And I've been seeing a lot of mediocrity. Even, Baba, in Baltimore, we have this thing called Project Baltimore on Fox News. And the parents get on there. My child can't read. My child can't write. My child can't. All I keep hearing is can't. And then I hear it's the school system. Baba, I said, damn, I hope they give me an invitation because I want to get up there and throw the blame at the parents, because our children should be learning these things prior to even getting. Your child should know how to read, write, and comprehend, Baba, before they go to an educational institution. The educational institution should only be reinforcing what you're already doing in your household, Baba. And so anyway, Baba, what are your thoughts on that? The lack of parenting that you see in our community?
So, great question. Our situation is so complex, and oftentimes when we attempt to address these critical issues, it becomes so personal, because the people that's receiving it, oftentimes they process it as if you are attacking them personally when they're not being attacked. But it comes from us not understanding all the dynamics that's related to how we have ended up in the situation we are in. So for me, when I hear and I think about it, I think about the children and why the children are not able to perform at the level that they are designed to perform at. I look at that first institution. That first institution is the family.
Come on.
The family is the first institution, but I know that we don't know the family as an institution. So I'm clear. I know that most of us don't know that the family is an institution that's designed to carry out a specific task in relation to its members. I know we're not clear about that. So we begin to fail in performing that first duty, protect and ensure the productive development of the young within the family. We begin to fail at that. You know what I'm saying? The innocence we begin to destroy the innocence. We're not trying to maximize their development. And the reason we're not trying to maximize their development is because parenting for many people is an afterthought. It's not an intentional act. So most of us find ourselves in a parenting role as an afterthought to some actions we didn't put a lot of thought into.
Come on, Baba.
Right? We never put a lot of thought into being so open with the act of sexuality, being sexual and having sex and just doing what we're doing and not understanding that whole process. We end up with a child, so then parenting becomes the afterthought. There is no plan. There's no plan how to parent. And not only is there not a plan how to parent, the person who have fathered or brought forth the child have neither been put through a process to ensure that they even know how to execute, you know what I'm saying, the task of parenting. So it's a double situation. So in order for us to kind of get in here and change some of this, we have to talk about parenting. We're going to need parenting classes, and we're going to have to begin to produce and educate our children on parenting early on, because that's the reason we are here. We are here to perpetuate the existence of our species. So each of us come to the world to perpetuate our existence. So we have to be prepared to do that early on. You can't wait until I'm 20 to prepare me for manhood.
Come on.
I'm going to fail utterly, right? My manhood preparation has to be from the moment I come into the world. The moment I come into the world, I should be prepared to be a man. I should spend those first 2 to 3 years probably with my mother, because she's breastfeeding me. And while I'm with her, she's breastfeeding me, but she at the same time is educating me. She's making sure that I understand certain things. She's telling me more about my father, who he is, his good qualities, and things of that nature. And the father should come in and reinforce that. Then around the ages 3 to 4 or 5, the father should take the boy and begin to spend time with the boy to show the boy how to be a man. And it should be conversations like this. This is what a man do. This is what a man don't do. You see daddy do this. This is what men do. Case in point. When I hug my wife, when I kiss my wife, and I tell my boys, my wife do it also. My wife always tell the boys, so this is what you see what daddy doing. This is what you got to do when you get a wife. And these boys are 6 and 10, but we have to teach them what their roles are now by way of instruction and also by way of example. So when they come of age and they find themselves in a position of being a father, they will have a basic to build on, but then it's the responsibility of the family to also wrap around them to ensure that they can do this thing the way they're supposed to be done. It's never a singularity. It's always multiple people involved in the rearing process. Absolutely. And we're not doing it because of capitalism. So that's the other piece. We got to factor that in. When we assess us, we can never assess us and leave white folk out the equation, right? I don't care about people saying you blaming, so on and so forth. Because if you leave them out the equation, you got a lopsided assessment. We can't just assess the quote unquote destruction of the black family and don't talk about how that destruction of the black family have came about. We can't talk about black men and black women not living up to the par of what we think they should be as mothers and fathers, and don't talk about the role of capitalism and the pressures that is put on people, right? We can never talk about us and leave them out. It's going to be a lopsided equation. It's going to be a lopsided answer we come up with, right? Now, we don't necessarily it's not about trying to always say, well, I'm not blaming, but we got to talk about it. So if I'm talking about the failures of the black family, then I got to also talk about the fact that capitalism places a heavy burden on the black family. The way that it's structured. You see what I'm saying? The bill, man, is repetitious. And every time you turn around, the bill is going up higher and higher and higher. The black men and the black women don't have that kind of money. So they're thinking about what? Making money to pay bills. That becomes a primary preoccupation, right? So you're trying to choose when it's one person and you got 4 children, you're trying to choose. What am I going to do? Let them starve or go to work and make some money to feed them? So you're choosing, right? But the system is designed to choose, because in that choice, something on the other side is going to be neglected. Not necessarily by choice, but by default, I'm going to neglect your emotional and psychological development because I'm focused on making sure you eat tonight.
Facts, Baba. Facts. Facts on top of facts. I see Brother Keith Kitchen said, how do we help parents educate their children? How do we get groups together to help parents be better parents? What are your thoughts on that? Thoughts to his question, Baba?
So read the first question again.
He said, how do we help parents educate their own children?
Stay right there. Part of parenting, and I know most people don't know this, part of parenting is to engage yourself in a perpetual process of self-development.
Come on.
Most of us who have children don't do that. So the first thing we have to do is generate a dialogue around parenting, but a dialogue in such a way that is so general that no parent feel like he or she is under attack, right? So it got to be a very general and safe dialogue about parenting and the role of a parent, because most people who find themselves in the role of a parent never really gave any thought to what it means to truly be a parent.
Come on.
Right? They never had any time to really think about that. What does it mean to be a parent? And that's the first question I always ask in all my parenting classes. When I got parents together, I ask that question. 2 questions I ask. I ask all the parents, are you a parent? 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 And everyone says yes. And then my next question is, what does it mean to parent? And then everybody is quiet.
Come on.
Because no one ever put any thought into what does it mean to parent? But I'm told that I'm a parent because I have a child. But what does it mean to parent? And then I tell them, I say at the most basic level, to parent is to cultivate. But in order to cultivate, to bring out and make something bloom, you must understand the science necessary to do that.
Come on.
Cultivate a field, I must understand the science of agriculture.
Come on.
So to cultivate a child, I must understand the science of human growth and development.
Come on.
Right? So if I have not been put through a process to understand the science of human growth and development, I'm going to fail utterly in my attempt to develop a child. Right? So you got to start with the dialogue and get people weighing in and allow people to talk about the stresses that's taking place in their life and the things that interferes with that. To have that conversation, flush that out, and then help people to understand in a very systematic way what parenting is truly about. Right? We have to help everybody understand that what most of us have been exposed to, and even what most of us are doing, isn't parenting. Right? We are winging the process.
Come on.
We're winging the process, but we're not parenting in the truest sense of the word in terms of developing and rearing and bringing out the best that we come to the world with. We come to the world to be the best. We just have to be placed in an environment and cultivated to bring the best out of us.
Come on. Come on. And then it says right here, how do we get groups together to help parents be better parents?
The way you get groups together is you start with what you start with, right? If that group is just you and one other parent, then that's the group, right? You start with what you have and you work from there, and then you allow what you have to become the example that you use to entice other people to come and be a part of that. But if we wait for 15, 30, and 45 people to show up, we'll never start. We have to start with what we can start with. Even if we got to start with the adults that's in our biological family, if we don't have a biological family that's already in food and fighting. If it's not a family that's already in food and fighting, you can start there once a month, get all the adults together, and we're just going to come talk about parenting. And you can just grow it out of that. But the key is to start. Right? The key is to start. Know where you want to go with, know what you want to introduce them to, and just start doing the work.
Absolutely. In 2020, Baba, I had the honor of marrying one of my first cousins. Actually, they were the first couple I ever married. I'm actually getting ready to marry a fourth couple this year. And when they talked about having children, I got this book for them. 2 copies of this book. This book, Baba, changed my whole perspective on child rearing. Baba, are you there, Baba? Okay, just making sure. This book right here changed my whole thought process on parenting, the developmental psychology of the Black child by Dr. Amos Wilson. I recommend that if you plan on having children, or or you already have children, get this book, because Dr. Amos Wilson did a marvelous job explaining how the psychology of Black children develops. Grab this book. I think this, Baba, I don't know if you read it. You probably did, because you didn't read everything. But Baba, I love how he starts with the prenatal period, or the gestation period. And he's talking to women about what we put in our bodies, about our emotions, how our emotions impact the development of the child right in our womb. So he says the psychology, the development of our psychology, the psychology of our babies, it starts right in the womb. And a lot of people don't know that. And it's not just the woman. It's the quality of the sperm too, Baba.
Yes.
It's the quality of the sperm too. So Baba, let's unpack that.
That's the reason why when we was talking the other day, I was sharing with you some of the things me and my wife done with our child, in Yami, our children. We refrain from things, you know what I'm saying? We went on, even though we already strive to eat healthy and we think health conscious, we aware of that. But when we decided to say we're gonna bring forth child, you know what I'm saying? We put some extra things into place, some other things that we did. Fast, spent more time together, talking, relating, eating well, stuff like that. Things that was going to play a part in it, because the mother in the developing life for a time period, they are one and the same. See, they're not two beings, even though we say it's two beings, but they're connected. That's a connection there, right? So they're actually one in the same. The life that's evolving within the womb is actually one with the mother.
Come on.
So whatever the mother is going through, have gone through, have subjected herself to, you know what I'm saying, whether that's emotionally or physically or psychologically, that life is also experiencing. So that mother has to be screened, in a sense, to be away from negativity, violence, stress, all those things, right? Because that stuff impacts the development of the life that's inside the womb, right? So we have to think about that first and foremost, and then when it's coming into the world, you have to be mindful of all of that, the environment that is being born into. Like most people having babies in these hospitals and they smacking the child and all that.
Right.
Because they don't know any better. And then most of us don't even know any better. We allow them to do it. You know what I'm saying? Soon the child come out, they snatching the child, they're cutting the umbilical cord. No, don't just cut it. Let that thing pulsate for a while. You know what I'm saying? So it's so much that we don't know about that process of development that lends to the beginning stages of the destruction of the mind of the child.
Come
right?
on.
It starts so early. But it's our responsibility to know the genius and the power and the sacredness of the developing life.
That's right.
And do everything in our power to ensure that life can come to full term and then optimize itself with our guidance, because from optimization, one can get to self-actualization. And that's what this is about. We are on a quest to self-actualize, because with self-actualization is spiritual illumination. This is what our ancestors was doing, before they was disrupted with these Europeans. So we're not even on the task now to optimize. That's why you see so much mediocrity that you got finished talking about. We're not optimizing ourselves, so we're nowhere near self-actualization to get to spiritual illumination. Like, these are the stages and the phases we must go to. So I tell brothers all the time, no, you can't be out here talking about, yeah, man, I got to get that Henny in me, man, then I can have good sex and all that, man. You can't have a whole bunch of Henny in you, and you want to be ejaculating inside somebody with busted up sperm. You know what I'm saying? And then you want to put that busted up sperm inside somebody, and you just destroying something. So come on, man, y'all got to get yourselves together, man. And the woman got to know better. Why you want somebody on top of you who having sex with you that's all inebriated in their mind? They're not even in their right state of mind. They all drunk and slobbering, and they nothing is big. Energy is bad. They poor, stink. You know what I'm saying? We got to do better than that. Got that junk laying up on top of you. You know what I'm saying? Come on now.
No, Baba. I agree, Baba. I'm not laughing at what you're saying, Baba, but I agree 100%. Baba saying nobody want that jacked up sperm. And then what you say, the woman on top, Baba, alcohol come out of her pores, Baba, and she's sweating and stinking, and then creating something. And and expect it to be great, Baba. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be great. No. And so he starts with the prenatal period. He talks about, us women, being mindful, being cognizant of what's going on internally, with our bodies, being cognizant of men, being cognizant of their sperm. He talks about drugs and alcohol and how that, degrades the quality of the sperm. In this book, he also talks, Baba, about culture. He talks about family. He talks about the type of toys that our children should play with. And I know you told me that you don't buy toys. And when he mentioned toys, he was talking about like games that develop. There we go. Instructional. So not just a car that you going like this, or a robot that, no. He was saying that like toys that will help to develop, critical thinking skills. He mentioned that. He talked about media, the books in the the books and the type of movies or televisions that our children should be watching. So, Baba, that brings me to what I want to talk about with you. During your celebration on Sunday, you gave us a powerful message. You talked about protecting the innocence of our children. And that is something, Baba, that we have not done enough. And for those who are connected to me, they know I speak openly about having been sexually violated at the age of 8. We don't do enough, Baba, to protect the innocence of our children. So we let our children go to the neighbor house, and then you find out that the neighbor touched your child, or the neighbor may have had somebody in his or her home who touched your child, right? Or you may be dealing with a guy or a woman that didn't touch. It happens in the Black community a lot. I give thanks to Dr. Patricia Newton. Peace be upon her soul. May the ancestors be pleased with her work. She talked about how 8 out of 10 Black boys are touched before the age of 18. She said 9 out of 10 Black girls are touched before the age of 18. That's a problem in the Black community that we don't talk about. I have friends, Baba, who have shared with me, I'm talking about both male and female, of how they were touched. They weren't protected. Parents didn't look. Mommy and daddy out and about, either they're working, or mommy and daddy are out hanging out, or mommy and daddy just not around, period. And when that happens, when adult supervision is lacking, things happen, Baba. Things happen. And so, I have friends who even say, and then they even told me this. One of my friends went as far as, Baba, is sharing with me that she said during Thanksgiving, because our family still celebrates, she said the guy, her uncle, who molested all of the cousins, he was sitting at the table. Baba, it happens a lot, and we don't talk about that in the Black community. So just stressing, and I'm so glad that you mentioned the importance of protecting our children's innocence, not only against child molesters and rapists, but also on social media. These parents, Baba, they're giving their children cell phones. The child is on TikTok all night. The child is on Instagram all night, YouTube, looking at God knows what. And I don't think parents understand, as you stated on Sunday, that when you put this device in their hand, you are stripping the child of his or her innocence. You said on Sunday, you said these children don't even have a damn childhood anymore. So,
No.
Baba, could you speak to that, Baba?
Yes. The reason why this is not talked about in the Black families the way that it should be talked about, it goes back to what we initially was talking about. We don't understand the importance of the family. So the family as the primary institution that should foster our growth and development as human beings have been under attack. And because it's under attack, it has been eroded from the inside out. So there's a lot of perversion in the idea of what it means to be a family. So what I mean is this. So we say things like this right here, you know what I'm saying? We want to protect, we want to keep everything inside the family, even the bad things, right? Some things, got to be excised out. It got to be cut out. You know what I'm saying? So if it's an uncle, a father, whoever, a brother, a cousin that's doing it, we cannot hide that in the family, right? Because what it does, even though the act in and of itself have already damaged the person, but when the family protects that person who perpetrated that act, that further damages the victim, right? The way we can kind of bring the victim back, if the family come together and wrap around that victim, help the victim know that you've been victimized by this violator, and we're going to deal with this violator in some capacity.
Come on, Baba.
It has to be something redemptive have to take place on the part of the family, right? The family can't act as if it has no role in what occurred, even though the other uncles may not have done it. But we all can't stand back like the family is 100% innocent. The family isn't innocent because it occurred in the family.
Come on.
The family has an obligation to step up and show up for that child, right? We don't do that because we don't understand the whole dynamics of family. So we got to talk about not only parenting, we got to talk about family development, family dynamics, what family is, what family isn't, what's the role of family. Those other conversations that we need to have, so we can make sure that protecting the innocence. It's also is this. A lot of children are being molested by children.
Come on, talk about it, Baba.
A lot of children are being molested by children, and we don't understand that's what's taking place because, like I say, we have children who are being exposed to things they shouldn't be exposed to, right? Too early on. And because I remember reading an article about Vanessa Williams. This is public knowledge. I'm just going to share it though. And she was saying how when she had traveled from New York with a friend and a family, they went to California with something, but she went with the family. And what she said what happened to her was her friend's sister, who wasn't an adult, it was just an older sister of the friend that came into the bedroom that night and it molested her. But that molestation, as she talked about it opened up all these other sensations within you should not have been opened up at that age.
Come on, Baba.
Because all of us, the body is designed with spots of stimulation. We just designed that way. But we shouldn't be touched and rubbed in those places until it's appropriate. So if that happens before the appropriate time, then all these sensations are opened up, running and flowing through your body, and before you know it, you just on this spiral, right? So I say that to say this: we have to also be mindful of who the children, our children, are hanging out with. If you don't know the parents and how the parents rear their child, you have to be skeptical of their child, right? Because at the end of the day, you gotta respect the parent that's willing to protect his or her child. So if a parent get upset at you because you're taking precautions to protect your child, then you know you're dealing with an undeveloped parent.
Come on.
You know you're dealing with an undeveloped parent, and you should stand clear of him or her, right? Because a true parent can respect another parent that's willing to protect his or her child, physically, socially, emotionally, spiritually, you name it. I'm willing to protect my child to ensure that my child can develop naturally, uninhibited. Right? So we got to watch out for all of that. We got to make sure that the children, because you got some children that's 12, they're allowed to watch all kind of movies, right? They listen to all kind of music. And these people don't think that this is corrupting the child. And then that 12-year-old who you think is just a 12-year-old, they're not 12 no more. because they've been exposed to so much adult stuff. They're not 12. They're just 12 in age, right? But by information, they're older in information. Even though they don't have the maturity, they have the information. And what they do is they use that information in a way to make other children, maybe other 12-year-olds or 11-year-olds, feel like, yo, what I got is hip. You should have this too. You know what I'm saying? So they talk about some of these things that they saw or overheard. And now this corruption is leaving one child, is going to your child. So the corruption is like a virus, right? It transmits from child to child to child to child.
Come on.
You gotta watch the children that you gotta watch the children that your children are being around, and you gotta know the parents that your children are being around. If the parents are not on point, if they don't have no serious rearing practices, you need to just pull your child away from them children altogether.
That's right. That's right, Baba. And I love with this with Marion Thompson put in the chat, because I had a huge problem with this philosophy growing up. What goes on in this house stays in this house. I told my mother that was one of the worst notions, worst practices, worst ideas ever put forth. Because when you tell children that, now they are afraid. You get what I'm saying, Baba? You know, you have parents who actually, I got in trouble for it. You know, you'll go back and tell grandma or auntie something, and what, this is my house. What goes on? No, that's one of the worst ideas, I think, worst ideas and practices, Baba, that we did in the Black community, to say what goes on in this house stays in this house. No, because what goes on in this house, because you're not going to just stay in the house, Baba. The individuals or members of the house are going to go out. And when they go out, Baba, what's happening in that house is going to impact what's happening in the community. So no, I am concerned about what's going on in your house. I'm not from that school of thought to just mind my own business. No, I am concerned about the way you are rearing your child, because ultimately, Baba, I'm wondering, is your child going to be an asset or a liability to the community? I want to know. I want to know, Baba. And what I want to do is ensure that your child is an asset to the community. So no, I don't believe in what goes on in this house stays in this house. I think that was one of the worst ideas, Baba, and one of the worst practices that we've ever promoted and practice in the Black community. What are your thoughts on that statement? What goes on in this house stays in this house.
So I do agree, but I think that with that, we have to be able to contextualize. And what I think one of the mistakes that's made is that your parenting and educating a child is one and the same. Parenting, socializing, and educating is one and the same. It has to be an ongoing process of interaction between you and the child. So the entire time the child was in the world, you should be teaching the child about the dangers of the world, right? All the dangers, and the dangers that can potentially lurk within their own home, right? They have to be taught about that. And so one of the things that, my wife does a lot, more so than me when it comes to our children, is to always question them, to have those conversations. You know what I'm saying? Anyone touch you, this is what you do. You make sure you tell me, you tell dad. Anyone touch you, no one should be touching your privates, this, that, and other. You shouldn't be touching no one's private. It's no game. You don't do that stuff like that. One of the things that I do a lot of, and I'm on it, is that anytime I see the children together and I see them somebody says or do something that may be a little bit on the edge of being inappropriate, and all the children laugh at it, I come straight in. Don't laugh at it. It's inappropriate. And because when you laugh at inappropriate things, you're preparing yourself for the acceptance of that. Don't laugh at it. It's inappropriate. It shouldn't be said. It shouldn't be done. Don't be making no jokes like that. Men don't joke that way. And I come at them like that. I help them understand, because it's our duty to help them see what's appropriate and what's inappropriate. That's one of the principles of my art. You know what I'm saying? Propriety. We must teach propriety.
Come on.
We must teach that on a regular basis. What's appropriate for Black young male men, and what's appropriate for Black young females, women, right? The inappropriate and what's appropriate. Because if you don't, because you have so many children who are exposed to so much inappropriate stuff, and they take it as if it's just natural and normal, and they will bring it to your children. So if you're not consistently monitoring with your ears and your eyes, you're on there regulating them, that stuff is going to get in, and it's going to begin to corrupt your child. So you have to monitor those children consistently, and you have to constantly correct them children. Correct them 1,000 times if you need be to get the desired behavior that you want.
Come on, Baba. And Baba, I want to close with this last question. How vital is parenting to nation building?
Woo!
Come on, Baba.
That's at the core, right? So nation building grows out of a complementary relationship. So nation building starts with an African man and an African woman who both know that they are African men and African women coming together with the express purpose to build a family, to build power. So it's the collection of families when they come together that forms what we call the community, and it's a collection of communities that build our nation, right? So we can roll it back. So from nation, we get to communities, to families, to a complementary relationship. So if you got people together who don't understand what it means to be a parent to parent, the nation building is going to be stifled. It's going to be stifled, right? So we have to be able to rear our children into the mindset of understanding the importance of family relations, and family dynamics. And each child should know that his duty for me, since I'm a man, I make sure my sons know your duty, part of your duty, is to get a wife and build a family and go after sovereignty. That's it, right? You're not here to look for leisure. You're not here to say, I'm going to go try to make 6 figures. If you get 6 figures, cool. If it's by default, cool. But that's not your aspiration. Your aspiration is to place yourself in a position to add on to the security, protection, and preservation of us as a people. Simple as that.
Simple as that. And Baba, I couldn't agree with you more. We can't talk about nation building without our children, which leaves me with a quote I would like to read by Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. She said this in ISIS paper. Was it an ISIS paper, page 197? Dr. Frances Cress Welsing said this. I got to look, guys. It may not be on page 197, so don't quote me, because, folks go and look it up, Baba, and they, Dr. Maat, you was wrong. It wasn't page, so I think it's page 197. But she said that Black children are our most valuable possession and our greatest potential resource. Any meaningful discussion of the survival or the future of Black people must be predicated upon Black people's plan for maximal development of all Black children. She didn't just say your Black child, right? She said all Black children. And she also said maximum development of all Black children. She also said children are the only future of a people. If children's lives are squandered and that the children of a people are not fully developed at whatever cost and sacrifice, the people will have co-signed themselves to a certain death. They will be destroyed from without and from within by the attack of their own children against them, and they may be destroyed by both. Baba, is this not what we're seeing right now, Baba?
That's exactly what we're seeing. That's exactly what we're saying, and we have to be very proactive as a people, and even those of us who may just sit back oftentimes. Because one of the things I like to say is this, and I notice this a lot with our community, is if you did a survey and you went through all the lectures, all the lives, all the events, you'll see tons and tons and tons and tons of Black people, oftentimes in agreement with what they're hearing, right? And they have ideas and solutions, but everyone tends to just stand still. So I say this, right? To be African is to not be a spectator.
Come on.
To be African is to be a participant. It's to be involved. That's what makes us African people. There are no African spectators, right? In the traditional sense, what it means to be African. Everyone partakes in developing African communities, systems, processes, you name it, right? It was us collectively. So it's gonna require that. It's gonna require us collectively saying, you know what, I can no longer just be a spectator and make analysis. Analysis is good, but we need something to follow behind the analysis. We have to get involved. Even if your involvement is just saying, well, you know what? This is what I'm willing to do. I'm willing to fund something or support something, right? Because I don't think everybody needs to recreate a whole wheel, but we do need everybody to get involved. There's enough work for us as a people, for everybody to do something. So that's what it has to happen. You know, we have to strive to work hard to protect Black children, right? We got to be about that. Protecting these children, protecting their innocence to ensure that these children can develop unimpeded, right? We want to maximize their growth and development. We want our children at age 10, right? We want them beyond what they would learn if they went through from the first grade to the 12th grade in public school. Our children should know all that by age 10.
Come on.
By age 10, they should know all of that. That's what we got. That's how we got to be thinking. We have to raise the level of awareness amongst our people and stop being so okay with this level of mediocrity that's out here. We have to push the bar higher. That's going to require a lot of studying, reflecting, writing, dialogue. We have to be about the business of developing ourselves from the inside out. It's not enough just to always make an observation of what's going on. That's not enough.
Come on.
We passed that. It's 2023. That's not enough, Black men and Black women. Everybody just can't sit around and make observations, right? Come on, it's time to get involved. It's time to get involved. We need your help. We need you on the front line. If you got enough sense to make an observation, come on, get on the front line with that observation. We need everybody involved in this thing because we gotta push the bar higher. We gotta push it higher. Our political consciousness as a people is low. Our social awareness is dim. Our spiritual enlightenment is dull. We gotta change that. We have to change that. That's the reason why we are protect a violator of children, because we don't know any better.
Come on.
We don't know any better. We're a protective violator of children, right? We laugh at stuff that's, when we see us being destroyed in the world, we think it's funny at times. We don't know any better. That gotta change. And the only way that's gonna change, we gotta change consciousness.
Come on.
We gotta change consciousness.
And how do you change consciousness, Baba? I'm throwing you the alley-hoop.
We change consciousness by engaging in the process that's gonna transform consciousness. We have to engage ourselves in something very transformative that's going to challenge our current state of consciousness. And don't be afraid of the challenge. Something that's going to question what you think you know about yourself. That's what you got to do. What you think you know about yourself need to be questioned. Because once you are questioned in such a way and you are interrogating yourself, you can deepen your consciousness. A lot of us don't interrogate ourselves. We don't interrogate what we think we know. We just run around feeling comfortable what we think we know. What you think you know is not enough. It has to be questioned. What you believe must be placed in a predicament where it's challenged. It has to be put in a situation where it's challenged so you can deepen yourself.
Baba, they going crazy in the chat. They going crazy. Family, you all feel like I feel every time I hear this brother speak. And I had to call him on Monday morning. I said, Baba, when you speak, you make me feel like I'm not an anomaly. Like I'm not crazy for thinking and behaving the way I do. Everyone said, yes, indeed. So shout out to Dr. Craig Samuels. He said, yes, indeed, Baba. He said, yes, indeed, Baba. And sending healing energy to Dr. Craig Samuels. I see Sister LaShawn. She said, speak. Then you have Sister Sankofa. She said, Baba, word, sound, and power. Ashe, ashe, ashe. I'm all different. TV said, yes. Extra Money said, yep, it's not about entertainment. Sister Curl, she said, please tell this brother to preach his message on other websites, radio, and TV, because we need to hear it. Dr. Samuel says, true, Baba. They going crazy in the chat. It's a lot of comments, Baba. Baba, let's close out with your book, Baba. Tell the people where to contact you. Tell them about your new book, Baba. And tell them how can they get the book. I got to get, you sent the 10 copies by Baba Will. So I got to get it from Cuzzo. I got to grab 10 copies because what I'm going to do, Baba, when I get your books, I just give them out. I just purchase them from you. I just give them out. I keep a copy for myself and I just give them out. If I had enough, if I had more money, Baba, I would have bought 75 copies and gave it to each one of my students. And I may try to do that, start gifting my students with that. But anyway, Baba, go ahead, talk about your book and where people can get it and how they can contact you.
Yes, urban philosophy, thought, and behavior system. Most of what you heard me elaborating with on tonight, it comes from this thought process. The book is essentially about Sankofa. Essentially about Sankofa, and for me, I break Sankofa in 4 phases. Sankofa is it's a historical journey, and while you're on that historical journey, you have to do what I define as being historical recognition. So you go on a journey, then you begin to recognize yourself while you're on that journey, your historical self. Then you begin to retrieve those historical pieces of yourself. And then once you have retrieved those pieces, you begin to utilize that. So it's historical journey, historical recognition, historical retrieval, and historical utilization. That's Sankofa. And that's essentially what this book is about. It's a journey for us to read and study about who we are and how we should behave and move forward in the today's time. So I got 360 insights in here. I have 36 laws that govern how we should be thinking. I break down NGA2, which translates as our way. I really get into what NGA2 is so we can understand what that thinking is all about. And I do a very profound elaboration on the importance of African culture and how African culture is in fact the antidote. It's the culture, right? The insanity that we are currently experiencing is nothing but an intensification of confusion. So the more we understand the culture, that confusion begins to dissipate and we become clear. The clarity leads to sanity. So our insanity is really confusion, intense confusion that needs to be cleared up, right? And this book is designed to do that. No, it's not a Kindle book. It's just hard copy. It's not on Amazon. If anyone want to purchase the book, you will have to purchase it from me. I don't have my website up as of yet, but you can inbox me directly on Facebook at Bob Imhotep, or you can reach out through you will get me through Dr. Maat or Instagram. Just contact with me directly, and we can work on how you can get the book. You can purchase the book. I ship the book out myself, and then to come to you, and I can guarantee you that you're going to love the book.
Ashe. Family, join me back here tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm bringing on my students, Bobby Imhotep. I don't even want to say his name, but you probably know who I'm talking about. Put out a bone, and Dr. Maat the person doesn't understand the difference between an electrical engineer and an electrician. And I'm at a point, Baba, where I'll just bring on my students and let them educate. I didn't raise up enough of them. I've educated hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of electrical engineering students. So I'm going to bring my students on tomorrow night to talk about the anti-intellectual movement that's happening in our community and teach what is electrical engineering, because these are all electrical engineering students. Is it the same thing as being an electrician? Is that what we do, Baba? We go in and cut folks' lights on, and that's what we do? Is that an electrical engineer? And so anyway, I said, instead of me addressing it, I'm just going to bring my young students on and let them teach tomorrow night. And again, we're going to be talking about the intellectual movement that's happening in our community. You got folks saying, don't read books. Don't learn. You don't need to learn. You don't need to read. You don't need to listen to the master teachers. So it's an anti-intellectual movement that's happening within the community. There's also a slandering of our master teachers that's happening in the community. I'm going to bring on young folks to help me unpack this tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, Baba, I want to say Asante Sana Dua Adupe for coming on tonight. I give thanks for your life, Baba. I give thanks for your life. I give thanks for your work. I give thanks for your wisdom. I give thanks for your time. And I give thanks for your energy. I thank Baba. I'm telling you, when anybody knows me, know that I hold you in very, very high regard. I think when my uncle clapped your hand, remember he said my uncle clapped you. He said, "Oh, you Baba Imhotep." Remember? He said, yeah. my niece love you. He said, "Oh, my niece." And I do, Baba. I love you. I love Mama Ife. I love your family, Baba. And I just appreciate you for all that you have done and are doing And so I look forward, Bob, to the next build. I think the next build we should have is really dig into parenting practices. And so maybe we can work our way up. Let's start with the gestation period. Then maybe have another dialogue on just rearing, what should happen in the household day in and day out with the child. So we'll kind of move the conversation into parenting practices the next time we build, Bob. And I know that you're actually getting ready to do, I know you were talking about possibly doing a seminar on it.
Yes.
And so, and it needs to be done, Baba. So anyway, I look forward to the build, Baba. You have a beautiful, beautiful night.
Thank you. Appreciate it. As always, it's an honor to be here. I'm always transformed by this engagement that we have on this platform. It's truly transformative.
Likewise.
And I enjoy it. And I look forward to the next time we're gonna bop heads together.
Absolutely. Always. I'm proud to know you. Proud to call you my comrade. I'm waiting for the pictures from your party on, your celebration on Sunday, because I'm bragging. We was dressed up. We took some pictures, so I can't wait to grab a picture, Baba, and post it and let folks know, how proud I am of you and how much I love you, Baba. So peace and hotep to you, Baba.
Hotep, peace.
Peace. All right, family. So that was a powerful discussion, family. Make sure that you thumb up the video. Thumb up this video. Oh, look, my necklace. I ain't got my necklace. I want to make sure y'all see my charm. All right. But anyway, family, thumb up the video. Thumb up the video. Okay. If you came in late, make sure you thumb up the video. Don't log off without thumbing up the video. All right. And lastly, family, share this video. Sharing is caring. We had a remarkable discussion tonight. So make sure you get this discussion out. Shout out to Sister Curl. Sister Curl said, Doc, I shared this discussion with 25 people. So can you imagine if all of you shared this with 25 people? The viewership would go out, the information would go out, and hopefully that'll bring people or draw people to this platform so we can get the information, the correct information out there to our people. So family, make sure that you share this discussion. If you're on Facebook, post it. If you're on Twitter, tweet the link. All right. If you're on other social media platforms, there's so many of them, family. I lose count. Just get it out there, family. And I'm going to end with this particular video called Black Power. And I'm going to drop the link to it in the chat. But it's Black Power, right? Black Power. And we can't have Black Power unless we empower ourselves and empower our children. Ashe? All right, family. I'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace and Black Power.
Feeling the energy. This one's for the people. I can show you better than I can tell you. God. The air for Black Power, cause you know we got that. Black Power, it's the melanin in your skin. Black Power, change the world, rise above lie. Black Power, 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 Black Power. Stand up, rise above for Black Power, Black Power, Black Power, Black Power, Black Power. Black Power, Black Power. Put your fists up in the air for. I got my fist up in the air for. Black Power. Now I say peace, king, not nigga. 187 on a racist cop, nigga. The pain, the change from which we rise above. We don't die, we multiply with the love. Although we cry, we closer to the plug. Fuck being fly, black fly, put your toasters up. We the only ones to save the day. BRS, the only ones that make the change. He don't love you, girl, his mind on the dope game. Still you love the way he stroking his rope chain. They thinking they fading us, but really they making us. I came from Shockman back and scraping up. I realized the message is bigger than making history. The devil got the whole industry. They wanna be niggas and hoes in the industry. I know God sees what the world don't. As I write this the realest that I wrote. I know God sees what the world don't. As I write this, the realest that I wrote. Put your fists up in the air for Black power, cause you know we got that. Black power, it's the melanin in your skin. Black power, change the world, rise above. Black power, put your fists up in the air for black power, cause you know we got that. Black power, it's the melanin in your skin. Black power, change the world, rise above live. Black power.
I could never be pessimistic.
I'm into getting more paid, striving like an optimistic. In these last days, I was in my prayers, can't put one past me. With the energy of God, you can't last me. They are evil, they words shall not cast me. I had to make it out the trenches at time. I played both sides of the fences. Pause, chill, I don't mean to be offensive, but what I say, I meant it. Other words, it is what it is. Did a couple bids, now I live for the kids. In this parallel world, I'm free, free, free. No jail cell. Watch what I say, cause it's that real. I gotta keep on writing, feeding their spirit with the true and living. Now mega star brand like true religion. I'm hearing this rig, whoever win elections. No, I'm not big or pop up in the session. One thing we got in common, it's a blessing. I can only be a dugger when I'm finessing. Throw it up for black power cause you feel the message. Throw it up for black power cause you real. Put your fists up in the air for black power cause you know we got that. Black power, it's the melanin in your skin. Black power, change the world, rise above. Black power, put your fists up in the air for black power cause you know we got that. Black power, it's the melanin in your skin. Black power, change the world, rise above live.